So good morning, Tuesday morning, and God, what a difference the day makes. Yesterday was really sunny here in Yorkshire, and I'm just looking out the window now, and it's grey and drizzly, and I am dressed pretty much in my autumn clothes. So welcome back to another Tuesday. Hope you've had a good start to the week. And I am really excited this morning to be catching up with somebody it's a lady that I met last year at the Real Catwalk that's organised by American model Christiana. And I've said it before, but it is one of the highlights of my year. I absolutely love doing it because of the people I meet. So I met Tamzyn Walker-Evans, who some might know as Plus Size Vintage Madame on Instagram, and she's a blogger, plus size model, body confidence activist, and similar to me, a vintage lover. So I can't wait to catch up with her this morning and see how she's been getting on. Good morning, Tamzyn.
Hi, Rachel.
Good morning. It's lovely to see you on here. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Fine, thank you. So, as I said at the introduction, it seems like ages ago, but we actually met last year, didn't we? At the
Yeah, it probably was about this time last year in August, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and it was the most glorious day with the most brilliant people. And yeah, I've made some lifelong friends from that catwalk.
Yeah,
so
likewise.
To keep catching up with you.
Yeah, definitely. So if somebody doesn't know you, how do you describe yourself?
Well, first and foremost, I am a champion for diversity in the beauty and fashion world and the modelling world. So I'm a plus size model. I'm a mental health advocate. I'm an activist for equality, like I said, and diversity. And I've got a real passion for vintage. So I sell vintage online. I do boudoir and vintage modelling. I love the fashion sense from the 40s and 50s, especially. Yeah.
Lots to talk about. Where to start? What came first? How did you get into the plus size modelling?
I went to something called Miss Curvaceous last year 2 years ago in October. And there I met one of my best friends. She's called Kaisa. She's a plus size model. And we met and we hit it off, and she's so talented. And we did our first shoot together with a lovely photographer called Tendai. And that was a boudoir vintage shoot in a bar. And then it just ever since then, it's really helped with my confidence, feeling good about my body. But more importantly, I find that it's helped other people to feel confident about themselves. And, you know, it's getting bigger people into the forefront of fashion and modeling is important as representation. For me, it needs to be something that has to change.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, when you talk about plus size modelling, the label I think is used really in the wrong way, because plus size model is for what, size 18 upwards, would you say?
So it depends whether you're talking about industry standards or what you would see as plus size clothing, and the two actually don't correlate. So that's where the problem, I think, needs to be fixed, because we would see plus size in this country as 18 plus in the shops for clothing. Industry standards when it comes to modeling, I think it's above a size 12 if I'm right. So I'm not sure that a lot of people in this country would see 12s as plus size. However, for modeling, that is where the threshold is. So yeah, I think you're right about the label is slightly skewed when it comes to what is plus size and what isn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's the term curve modeling, but then again, that's kind of taken on a life of its own in terms of only encapsulating women that have maybe big hips, big bum, really small waist, and a completely flat stomach.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it would be nice to have no labels, wouldn't it, and just be models.
It would, yeah. They've trialed something on a website, but I think it was like plus and negative, which didn't really work.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, we don't like the negative word.
No, exactly.
So when you did that first shoot with Kaisa, were you already really body confident, or was that first stepping stone?
I wouldn't say it was my first stepping stone. I have always had a bit of a mixed relationship with my body. And I think that is purely because of society and the way that I was treated and the way that I'm still treated. Because in myself, I've always been really confident. And it's only been the reaction from others that has shown me that they think that there's something wrong with my body, that they think there's something wrong with being a bigger person or a larger sized individual. Whereas for me, I don't feel that in myself. So really, it's been a process that I've worked on probably since, I would say, the past 2 years. People might not know a lot about my history, but I've had 2 gastric bans, and both of them have failed in terms of they've been really detrimental to my health. What the first one slipped, so it actually ripped off my stomach, and the second one I've still actually got in my body at the moment, but my stomach has gone inside it in the wrong way, so it's cutting off the circulation to my stomach, so I get quite ill from it. But what has happened as a result of having these gastric bans is that I've been a size 10 a couple of years ago. I was very tiny compared to what I am now, and I had the worst mental health and the worst health problems. Couldn't walk properly because I was so malnourished. I couldn't hold any liquid down, couldn't eat anything without throwing up. So I'd be throwing up maybe 50 times a day.
Oh, gosh.
And going through those different stages of being smaller, and you think that's the key because that's what society is impressed on you as a larger person. Well, if you reach this weight, you're going to be happy and life will open up for you. And that just simply wasn't true. And so I suppose it's been a bit of a journey from the first band in 2011 that I had. That's nearly 10 years. But really, since deciding that I didn't want to have any surgical intervention and deciding that I am going to have the band taken out because it's clearly detrimental to my health, then I decided to work on my mental health and being positive about my body, and also using that positivity to campaign for others, because I just think it's wrong that we as larger individuals not just feel, but actively are discriminated against by health professionals, by the beauty industry, by the fashion industry. So I think it's been really cathartic for me to use modelling as a way to help others and also help myself. So I think it's really important.
I mean, and you do such a good job for that. You use your platform so well, and it feels like you've really found your voice now, and you are wanting to be heard, which is an amazing thing. And you've recently become a ambassador for Models of Diversity as well, haven't you? So tell us a little bit how that will work.
So they are a charity called Models of Diversity, and they are fantastic. They're really instrumental at championing diversity, inclusion, equality in the beauty, fashion and modelling industry. So I've become an ambassador for them, which I'm so excited about. Because obviously they offered me the ambassadorship role because I've been championing the same ideals that they have. We're kind of on the same page when it comes to wanting the same things. They work with the most amazing models. So they specialize in working with plus size models of differing abilities. So you might find people who have prosthetic limbs. They might be in wheelchairs. Some of the models they work with have skin conditions. Some of them might have mental health issues or personality disorders. They work with children that are special needs, adults that are special needs, and they really are at the forefront of pushing that diversity, just so that we can see in the fashion and media that there's a whole breadth of people out there, and there isn't this one ideal that's been pushed on us for so long. That ultimately causes people to feel really bad about themselves if they don't meet this ideal.
Yeah, it's so frustrating, and I'm 100% behind this, because I just
Yeah,
think it's so short-sighted of the marketing industry and the branding and fashion industry, because people want to see other people that they can relate to in their
exactly.
situation, and everybody's mental well-being would benefit so much from this as a
Yeah,
society, and it would also stop this judgment, wouldn't it, and labeling, because we would just reflect diversity on all platforms as a
exactly.
normal, and not just tokenism.
Exactly. And I think, we've had this kind of push in tokenism recently with plus size models, with obviously models of color. And I am a bit worried, like you said, that it is just tokenism.
Hmm.
So that there's been a few brands in the past few months that have had this push for plus size, even plus size brands.
Hmm.
There was a bit of uproar about one particular brand when they were
Yes.
showcasing plus size models, and
Yeah.
they were literally all a size. They look tiny to me.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they were probably size. I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's
Yeah,
probably a size 12, 14, most of them.
yeah,
Tops are 16, and that would have been a specific curvy
yeah.
hourglass shape. So why is that reluctance? Because that drove me mad. Why are brands not embracing it like society wants them to?
I think that when you have maybe so this is maybe part of a bigger systemic problem that we have as an entire world, and especially in the Western world, that obviously companies are being run and you only have a certain type of ideal that's being employed because we have this systemic view as a society. So it's almost circular in a way. You're being pushed this ideal, so they're only employing that ideal,
Mm,
which traditionally has been white, cis, slim men and women.
mm,
And so, if you're getting a boardroom of people that are coming up with these ideas for adverts, for beauty campaigns, for fashion shows, you're going to think that the ideal is what you're already projected and what
yeah,
you know what I mean. So,
yeah,
really, we need to have greater diversity in the entire makeup of our society.
yeah,
And that is a completely bigger issue that comes from education. It comes from what we see in politics. So
mm,
it really is a bigger issue than even just the fashion and media world. But for brands that purport to want to create diversity and want to showcase diversity, it is tokenism. And I think they need to listen to their customers, and
mm,
especially for plus size brands, their customers are plus size women or plus size
yeah,
men. And for we would, like you said, we want to see someone that's relatable. I don't want to go on a plus size brand's website and see clothing that maybe I want to buy on a size 12 model, because I don't
mm,
know what that's going to look like on my body.
yeah,
That garment is not going to look the same on somebody like me who's 5'2" and a size 20 to 22.
yeah,
So I think it's still, I mean, I do a lot of online shopping. I'm always looking at the online stores, and it is just sad that they're not listening to their client base, and I'm not sure why.
mm. No, well, let's see. I mean, I'm hoping that through the tokenism, because they get such, whenever I see a campaign that has ticked all the boxes, and it's just a one-off campaign, the
Yeah,
reaction they get from the customers is always so positive
so
of saying,
positive.
yes, thank you. I'm just hoping that somewhere down the line that's going to filter through to the bottom, where
Yeah,
they realize that actually this is the way they've got to go forward, moving forward. I hope.
exactly. I hope that, in the coming months, maybe, we're going to see greater diversity off the back of some amazing activists and protests. Yeah, I really do hope that it's going to change. I think we've still got a massively long way to go. You know, even what we see as plus size, like we were saying before, it's still people with flat stomachs that are just bigger in the hips, maybe bigger
Mm,
in the legs. And, the body positive movement has kind of been hijacked by
mm,
the health industry once again, because
yeah,
obviously that makes the money. So even platforms, social media platforms, are promoting the smaller sized people that are maybe connected with health brands
mm,
or weight loss brands. and we still see people of larger body types being shadow banned and their posts being taken down. Because you can get side-by-side pictures that I've seen some amazing people on Instagram posts of maybe posts that emulate the same as a smaller sized person in exactly the same posts, and their posts will be taken down, and the person with the smaller body type will not. And that discrimination is rife. There is, and some people laugh at the term, but fat phobia is real, and I've experienced it.
I mean that people don't understand the impacts that other people's judgments can have on somebody's mental well-being. Are you better at dealing with that now because you're stronger and you're more confident? How do you deal with that?
So I've experienced, fat phobia wouldn't be the term that we'd have used 20 years ago, but I've been large since I was 12, and I've always experienced negative comments that we'd see as negative comments. And people now say to me things like, well, you're not fat, as if that word is negative. And I try and subvert that now and say, you can call me fat. That's exactly a descriptor that I would use, because I am fat. But what needs to change is the emphasis on fat as a negative. So, I mean, I've always had comments like my nickname at school was Fat Tam, and which I didn't mind it at the time. I wouldn't mind it now. The things that hurt would be maybe the discrimination that I faced from family and maybe potential employers or people in the street, because that brand you or label you as lazy, or that you can't do a certain job because you're a certain size. And there are so many people that are a size, that are my size, that are perfectly capable, and in fact just as capable as people of a smaller body type to do jobs. So it would probably be the active discrimination in terms of jobs and people looking down on you. It's not really the name calling that I've ever had a problem with, because for me, I'm an emphatic person, and I would question why those people that call you names are feeling that way in order for them to do it in the first place. And I think it probably comes down to their own self-esteem issues. So in that case, name calling was never really an issue, but it is the active discrimination that we see of larger body types that really, I think, has to change. And that's something that I'm always going to campaign for, because I see it all the time. And, especially now that we've had this initiative from the government to the obesity crisis, I think basically the people need to question why people are becoming overweight. Is it actually a correlation to ill health? Are there can there tests that are done on smaller people that correlates to ill health? Because I can tell you that I eat in my household the most healthiest out of the 3 people that I live with. And they are all slimmer than I am, and both of them probably don't do as much exercise as I do. So, like I said before, when I had the gastric band, when it was working, when it was working in terms of making me lose weight, and I wouldn't have been able to do a full-time job because I wasn't healthy enough. I couldn't think properly because I was so malnourished.
And I bet when you were at that point, you got so many compliments about your appearance and how fantastic you were doing in life. Because I know the 2 times I've been really slim, what I would call slim, I've been once when I was making myself sick when I was a teenager, and when I got divorced, I lost 2 stone because I was massively stressed, and it was an awful time. And everybody praised me about. It's bizarre, isn't it? And it's ridiculous because it's not about that outside appearance. It's just the wrong way to judge somebody, isn't it?
I think that, because we are basically brainwashed from birth by the media to put so much emphasis on the way that we look, it's really difficult to get out of that mind frame. And of course, being on social media and, the posts that I put up, they are largely based on how I look. And so even if you look at it from that point of view, when I'm getting praised for being a bigger person who looks beautiful, and I mean that even that to me sometimes feels a bit wrong because the emphasis is still on beauty. However, I think it's important to also bear in mind that maybe people of a larger body type need to have this praise for a certain length of time because they need to be propelled into the feeling that they are also worthy and that they also need to be positive about their own bodies. And then maybe we'll get to the point where we can then move past beauty and move past bodies and then just see people for who they are as individuals and what they've done for society and maybe what they're giving back.
Yeah. What's been your proudest moment through all this so far?
I've had a few proud moments in the past year, I'd say, like we were talking about when we met. That was such a beautiful day.
Yeah.
And it made me feel it wasn't just proud for myself, but it was proud for everybody else that took part in that catwalk and how beautiful everybody felt. And what the real beauty was in that day was that everybody was so supportive of each other.
Yeah.
So that was a really proud moment.
And also for me, it was watching those that were really nervous and really self-conscious start it and do it. But then when they came off, they were bursting with pride. And I love that.
So hyped up. And it's such a shame that we won't be doing it this year.
We'll have to wait next year.
Yeah, I will definitely be doing it again next year. And you know, we've had talks with Kajsa about taking it over to Finland and doing it there. Great. So maybe we can get a couple of us on the plane and go over there.
That
would be so much fun.
Yeah, it really would.
What other proud moments have I had? Just basically doing the modelling and, you know, overcoming the adversity that I've faced on social media, because we do get trolling quite a lot, being larger people. I tried out burlesque last year. That was a lot of fun, but it did kind of showcase that I'm still not positive about certain areas of my body. So because I've put on and lost a lot of weight, I've got a lot of excess skin, and as a result I've got very saggy breasts, which was difficult when it came to nipple tasseling because it actually was painful. And I felt.
Did you do the live show though? Did you actually perform?
I actually didn't in the end. I had a discussion with the lady that was running it, and I said, you know what, I'm not ready at this stage to get out there, because it was difficult because I was the only plus size person in the class of 30. It did just feel a little bit out of place. So what I was thinking of doing is setting up my own plus size burlesque classes, which
such a good
I think
idea.
would be lovely. So that's a proud moment that I at least went out there and I tried it. And then obviously being appointed as an ambassador for Models of Diversity, I'm really proud of myself for that, because they're such an amazing charity, and I really can't wait to start really working for them and seeing what events they're going to hold and how they're going to really shake up the fashion and beauty media world for the better.
Brilliant. So, well, I can't wait to watch what you're doing. It's just fantastic. And just keep doing it and just keep being you, because you do make a massive difference. And you are a little ray of positivity on social media. I love following
you. And it'd be really lovely to catch up again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. If people want to find you, where can they find you? You've got a website, social media?
I'm on Instagram. I am plus size vintage madam with an E on the end of madam. My blog is Moonchild Vintage Madam, but if you go on Instagram, there's a link tree to all of my blog, my Instagram, and my vintage website.
Brilliant.
You can find me. Thank you, Rachel.
Well, thank you so much. It's been an absolute delight to talk to you, and we could have talked for hours. It's been lovely to catch up. So take care of yourself and enjoy the rest of your week, and send lots of love. Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Well, I could have talked to Tamzyn. We've got so much in common, and I love her passion for what she's doing. And she is somebody that really is such a positive influence on social media. So if you haven't already, I recommend you go and check her out. And I will be back tomorrow. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow.